Kevin here for Channel Mana League, bringing you an 8-4 Theros Block Draft, with, of course, the journey into Nyx being live these days. I haven't done a ton of drafts, but so far they've been going pretty okay. I think Revel of the Fallen God is a fine card, but I'm not going to jump into double red, double green 7-drops to start off. Cards that I think are pretty good here. I like the Blade Tusk Boar is pretty good in this format. I like the Sigiled Starfish a lot if you want to be a little bit more control-y. Sentinel's fine. Cavalry's pretty reasonable. Johnny's Presence is a nice trick. And Grim Guardian is pretty good if you go with the like black-white enchantment type deck. As a first pick card, I think I might just take Blade Tusk Boar. I kind of like red. It's passing a Satyr Hoplite, which is a pretty nice card. But I think I'd either take the Blade Tusk Boar or the Sigiled Starfish here, and let's try to go with the Blade Tusk Boar. There's 2 Spites of Mogus here, along with the Magnum Spray. Nyx Weaver, a nice Test and Tactics. Apparently this person did not want to play green. I think that's a pretty nice green trick. I don't know if you have to pick it up first pick or anything, but I think that's a nice card in our heroic style deck. This pack's pretty good, actually. Nyx Weaver is pretty solid, pretty strong card in the right deck. Supply Line Cranes is pretty good, but I'm just going to take the Magma Spray and stick with red. I don't think Spite of Mogus is that good, so we'll take another red cheap removal spell. I also like Oak Dryads a lot, and I like green a lot, but let's just take the Magma Spray and move along. Okay, an interesting pick here. Most people think Gnarled Scarhide is one of the best uncommons, being super aggressive. Another Grim Guardian, which isn't really going in the deck that we're building so far. Not that we're too many picks in, but just another Blade Tusk Boar is also a reasonable pick, and just really cut off red, and I think that's what I'm going to do. I think Scarhide is probably a better card, but this is actually almost the same pack. In fact, this is just, I guess, a common run, because these are all the same. Uncommons are different, but I guess we'll just take Blade Tusk Boar, and hopefully they all didn't have Magma Spray in them as well. Oh, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So a rare and a common. So hopefully it's not someone's not just taking all the red cards, but we'll just take another Blade Tusk Boar and see what happens here. All right. So some reasonable choices here. Starfall, if we want to stick with red removal spells, it's pretty expensive, but it's instant speed, which is nice, and it does deal some damage. That's not a terrible choice. I like the Freakish Chosen, but it looks like we're trying to be maybe a little more aggressive. Also, I don't like red-blue, so even though I like the Starfish, I don't think I want to do that. There's 3 pretty good red-white cards in here, and I like the High Priest quite a bit, especially if you can get in kind of cheap heroic. The converted mana cost 2 or less is, you know, you have to have a lot of 2-drops for that to be good, but so I would say for me it's between the High Priest and the Starfall. Starfall's pretty good, but I think I like the High Priest better, so that might have been a wrong choice. Maybe it's better just to stick in red. But I don't think Starfall is quite as strong as some of the other removal spells. Reasonable minds could disagree about that. It's not bad. It's just 5 mana to deal 3 damage isn't amazing. If you deal 3 damage to an enchantment and deal 3 damage to the face too, it's obviously a lot better. But it's reasonable. Here I'm just going to take Supply Line Cranes. It's not really a super amazing red-white heroic deck, but I like it better than the Trailblazer. Don't like either of the red cards. I'm not really a big fan of this card. I guess it's okay at 6 mana, does a couple things, but yeah, I'm fine taking the Supply Line Cranes. I think that's probably the best card there, so seeing it kind of late is good. I don't really need, I don't think, an Eidolon of Rhetoric. So cards in this pack, I mean, I think Oak Dryads is probably the best card. Grove Dancer is fine, but I'm going to take the Starfall here. Alright, this is an interesting choice as to whether you want another Starfall, another Supply Line Cranes, but for me, I like the Supply Line Cranes better. It looks like red and white might be pretty open. So, let's see. Alright, well, out of the cards in this pack, I think the Thunderhoof, the Presence, and the Akroan Linebreaker are the three best cards. So maybe we're in good colors here. The land pads are fine, but not the best. I think Linebreakers... I like Linebreaker. Ajani's Presence is so good. I think I want the Linebreaker here. I want to be able to get through with Intimidate, and I want to be able to... Well, let's see. Right now we have 2 heroic guys. I'm going to take the Linebreaker. Try to go a little bit more red-white heroic. I think Mortal Obstinacy is fine. The +1/+1's obviously not amazing. In a heroic deck it's better, but Destroy Target Enchantment is pretty reasonable in this format. And we don't really want to play any of this other stuff, including the 4/4 Goldforge Sentinels in this deck. We want to be more aggressive. I already have 3 5-drops. I don't really want to pick many more of those up. So, yeah, don't like any of these cards. I guess we could take this just in case we want to play it, but I don't want to do that. The other choice is just to take one of these cards, which aren't even that great. So we're going to hide that one, though. Let's see. I guess I'll just take Aerial Formation. I think it's the best card here. Panoply's fine, but I think Formation's better. So that's a pretty late Starfall. Again, I don't think it's amazing, but I guess we could possibly play it. I think both of those cards are not that good. I guess I'll take the crappy removal spell. And I guess I'll pull that too. Okay, so in pack 1, we're not doing too amazing. I guess I can hide Aerial Formation. We're probably pretty red-white since we're almost exactly spread. Want to pick up, moving forward, more heroic, low-drop type guys. Maybe someone will pass us Anax and Siamede later. Alright, so... interesting choice here. I don't think we're going to be... I mean, we might be red enough for Fated Conflagration. It's possible that even Wheels, maybe. Let's see. Probably not in this pack. I don't really love God-Favored General, so probably not going to do that. For us, it's almost certainly Bolt of Keranos. The Loyal Pegasus is actually pretty good too. Almost no chance of that coming back. Maybe the Rollicker? Probably not, though. So this pack's pretty weak in general. Actually, yeah, none of this stuff's going to come back because the better cards are Grizzly Transformation, Felhide Brawler, and Nyxborn Rollicker. I guess Sky Reaping's pretty good. Oathsworn's okay, but yeah, I don't think there's enough here to get either of these back. But Bolt of Keranos is a pretty clear pick, I think. So here's a Ghostblade Eidolon. I think that's probably what I'm going to take. I don't care about Whim of Fates. Faragax Giant is fine. I actually like Sudden Storm, but obviously we're not in that color. And Fearsome Temper is pretty okay, so is Mortal's Ardor. Maybe one of these comes back, but we'll take the Ghostblade Eidolon. Really, for us, it's probably a 6-drop unless we get a whole bunch of Bestow guys. So it's maybe not that amazing in this deck, but I still think it's better than what we were looking at there. We will see, I suppose. Our red-white heroic deck so far is not very heroic, and this guy is not bringing a single card back just yet. So we definitely might be going the Blade Tusk Boar removal route instead of the intimidatey crack you down route. So here there's not really anything for us except for the Kragma Butcher, which I'm fine with, but we'll talk about Mischief and Mayhem. I actually like this card. I know a lot of people are not up on this card because you don't really want to cast it into open mana, but if you cast this not into open mana on flyers or guys with trample, I mean, it is obviously pretty situational, but I mean, even on ground guys that it requires 2 jump blockers, you just deal massive amounts of damage. So anyway, just my quick thoughts on Mischief and Mayhem. It's like maybe green would have been an okay draft, and Nyxborn Triton obviously is good, but Butcher it is. Oh, happy birthday! So I guess our red-white quick heroic beat downy deck is not in the cards, but we did get past probably the best uncommon, or one of the best uncommons for sure in this format, so seeing that pick 4 means that people to our left are not white. I also would have been okay with Excoriate here, but take another 5-drop. Again, we're not super heroic yet, but I think Shieldmate's pretty good. At least it works with the Priest. I like it better than Rollicker. Obviously, it's like almost the same card, but a little better stats. And Fearsome Temper or Hold at Bay are both fine. Like, I would totally play them, but we have 9 creatures and we want to get our casting costs down. So Shieldmate it is. Here for me is a sort of interesting choice between a Faragax Giant and a Rise to the Challenge, but since we're trying to be heroic, we're not really there yet. I'm going to take Rise to the Challenge. I think we already have 5 drops if we play both Starfalls. And while I like this guy, fair enough. Like I said, I'm trying to get the curve down a little bit. This challenge is, or the Rise of the Challenge is a decent trick. We might get another Faragax Giant in a little while, and I just don't want more 5-drops right now, so. Alright, well, it could have had an interesting red-green deck, I guess. So here's just a crappy 2-drop, an okay trick, or a 4-drop, and I think I'm going to take the crappy 2-drop. Crappy 2-drop, kind of crappy 4-drop, or a trick. I like this trick fair enough, but I think right now I want to get the curve down, like I said. So if that's what I've been saying I want to do, I'm going to take the crappy 2-drop. Here's another crappy 2-drop, but this one I don't like at all, really. So I think I'm going to take the Excoriate. It's not really the best deck for Excoriate, but other than some red burn, we don't have really any great removal. I'm very happy that the Loyal Pegasus came back, so for it to be good we need some creatures, but yeah, pretty happy that came back around. There's the Faragax Giant I thought might wheel, so we will take it. There's a Hold at Bay that I'm okay playing, so I will take that. And I guess I'll take a Scouring Sands. That'll be a sideboard card almost certainly. Probably won't be playing the Lightning Volley, but there it is. I don't really care about Claim of Erebos, but we'll snap it up. So we've got almost a deck here. Definitely need some creatures and some good heroic white guys would be pretty good. This is where you hope to see the Wingsteed Riders and such. Instead, we see some great green and blue cards, not a single red card, and a crappy white card. So that's about as bad of a pack as we could open for us, I would say. I mean, I guess there's a red card. Sorry, Boulderfall, I didn't mean to put you down. You are technically a red card. I love me some Nessie and Asp too, but Anthas's Emissary. Here, I might take Temple of Silence for scrying. I mean, I could take a crappy 2-drop. I really don't like the Warden. I know some people say they don't think the Warden's that bad. I think the Warden's pretty bad. It's not... I don't like it. I guess the Battle Priest is okay here as well. But I'm going to take the Scryer just because the Battle Priest isn't that good, and yeah, really that's all I got to say about that. So this is another just horrid pack for white-red. Good green cards. I do like green in this format, but yeah, this is just a pretty horrendously bad pack for us. Again, I could take Spark Jolt to trigger our own heroic guys. And if that's what you're planning on doing with your second pick, things are not going your way. I could also take the Scholar of Athreos as a Horned Turtle that'll almost never do anything for us unless we have a Temple of Silence. Burnished Heart is also an option. None of these options very good. I don't want to play Last Breath. I don't want to play Spark Jolt. I mean, I guess I could take Spark Jolt, but ugh, Spark Jolt. I guess I'll take Burnished Heart in case I have to play it. I really, really don't want to do that. Maybe Scholar's better. I'll just take Scholar. I don't think... Oh my goodness, Night Howler. I think it's looking like maybe someone switched colors on us. Or maybe not, but we saw lots of white and red cards in the first pack, and then, I mean, super late supply line cranes, not that they're, like, amazing, but you shouldn't be seeing that kind of stuff that late, and now we're just not seeing anything. We could take the heroic Priest of Erois here. God, Night Howler, so good, so Sentry, but we're going to take the Stone Shock Giant, even though we have 1,000,000 5-drops, and I guess the plan is going to be to try to live and play big guys instead of be heroic and aggro, because that plan, oh my god. Well, I guess, I don't know what happened. Black didn't look that open to me in the first pack. I just didn't see a ton of amazing black stuff in the first pack, but black-green sure looks open now, my goodness, Whip of Erebos. But we're going to take God's Willing. That's a good card, but geez, look at these black cards. Whip of Erebos right after Night Howler and Baleful Eidolon. Yeah, so black-green is super open. Probably a little bit too late to do anything about that now. We'll just take the Spear Point Oread, and our deck is not going to be as working as well as I had hoped. Yeah, I don't know what happened. It looked like red-white was really open, but I guess that's how it goes sometimes. Hopefully we draw well and get lucky, because none of this stuff's going to do anything for us. I mean, we have enough playables. I probably don't need to pick up a Silent Artisan. I guess I could take a Sentry of the Underworld and maybe play a couple black cards for Scholar of Athreos and Sentry. In fact, at this point, that almost looks like an actual option. Maybe. Yeah, this is getting silly. There's lots of good black cards. I guess here I really do not want to play all of these 5-drops. That's not a guess. I know that for a fact. I don't think I want to splash or Read the Bones, although maybe I do. Is that or a Priest of Erois, which it gets enchantments, I guess. No, let's take Read the Bones. Maybe we'll just play some Swamps here. So here it's a random 2-drop or a Ray of Dissolution. I think maybe we want random 2-drop. Let's see. Random 2-drop to try to get us into the late game, possibly. Ray of Dissolution is pretty good. What do we got? Bolt of Keranos, couple Starfalls. We really just need to... Okay, we're just going to take the crappy 2-drop. We have to just live until our late game can take over. Otherwise, we have no chance here. We'll pick up an Afara's Warden. Maybe we'll sideboard it. Again, I don't like any of this. This did not end up going well for us. We're not going to splash either of those cards, so we'll just pick up a Spark Jolt. Alright, well, we got 2 Sentries of the Underworld if we want to play black, and here's an Opaline Unicorn, which actually would allow it, possibly. Oh, several of them. Okay, so we're going to have a choice here. I'd rather not play 3 colors, but yeah. We'll see how bad our power level is if we don't play the black cards, and how much better our power level would be if we just played Read the Bones, couple Swamps for Sentries of the Underworld, and I mean, that's just way more 5-drops, which we're trying to play. We do have one way to splash black already, so yeah, maybe we will splash the black, but I'm gonna look at it, and then I'll tell you why I'm doing what I'm doing, and I'll be back in just a minute. Okie doke. So this is the way I've put it together. I decided not to play the black cards, even though I think Sentry is super strong, and I like Read the Bones a lot. And the reason I decided not to play those cards, and it may be wrong, but is I already have lots of 5-drops and strong ones, like Ornitharch, Supply Line Crane, Stone Shock Giant, and if I get to 6, a Ghostblade Eidolon, although it could potentially be played as a 3. But I figure if I get to the late game, the hope is that these guys will take over, or maybe even Blade Tusk Boar. So I don't need to bring more 5s in, and maybe it's better than, like, you know, a random Stone Shock Giant, although I don't know about that, Starfall, but I wanted to keep my curve a little bit lower, so I am actually playing Scholar of Athreos as what's going to be 90% of the time a Horned Turtle. I'm not going to add Swamps for it. I just don't want to screw up my mana for one Scholar of Athreos, so I'm not playing it. If I get some value off Temple of Silence, awesome. I'm not playing Hold at Bay. I'm only playing one Starfall. I already have 4 5-drops before I play one Starfall. The hope was to make this a very aggressive red-white heroic deck based on some of our kind of early picks, like the Linebreaker and the Blade Tusk Boars, although these aren't heroic, obviously, but the Tethmos High Priest. So I was trying to make an aggro red-white heroic deck. That clearly did not happen. Pack 3, we didn't see hardly any good red or white cards. We saw no heroic cards. We saw no Ordeals. And we saw, like, Stone Shock Giant, but nothing that was hoping to really build this deck up. So I actually expect this deck to be pretty bad. I would be kind of surprised if we won any rounds with it, but, you know, that's why you play the games, right? I like Faragax Giant just fine, but I think it's worse than the other 5-drops. Afara's Warden I don't like. We'll see if it looks good. We'll sideboard it in. Opaline Unicorn was a consideration to kind of ramp into my big guys, but at 3 mana, he's not really ramping you too much, and we're not... If I were going to play these cards, I would play Sentries and Opaline Unicorns and cut some other stuff, but I really want to play these crappy 2-drops, and really even just like the Horned Turtle here. Just like I said, I don't expect this deck to be good. Let me know what you think about the drafting portion. I thought we were looking okay in Pack 1. We looked pretty red-white. We didn't see any of the great red uncommon or red commons like No Fall of the Hammers Pack 2. We just saw Kragmaw Butcher, so we got cut off in red Pack 2, and we really didn't see much in Pack 3 either. So the tricks I'm playing are removal or Magma Spray, Immortal Obstinacy, God's Willing, Rise to the Challenge. I'm playing Excoriate for the removal. We do have some sideboard options. Hold at Bay was a possibility, but I think it's worse than these. So we'll go to round 1 and see how badly it goes.